was like right there, and we wiped, and we never got closer, and then the guild died. I was like, that was the kill shot to the guild.
Wipe that killed the guild. People saying, "You want to join my guild?"
No.
I hate that you just suggested that. Karis gave me this example, and I've always reiterated it. You're on a rec basketball team. Show up. All right.
Saying we're gonna walk down, and then we're gonna sit. Okay.
Okay.
Man. Wow. That's a guy that's almost cleared Throne of Thunder. Oh my God, there they are.
We're getting
Boom.
in there, dude. We're so close.
Oh man, I love it so much. All right, cool.
That was nice.
Well, welcome guys. Thank you so much for arriving. Welcome to the first episode of Filthy Casuals. I'm going to do this quick little intro here. So I'm going to start by saying, hey everyone, welcome to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about MMOs for the majority of players who aren't chasing world firsts, but still care deeply about their game, their stories, their friends, and most importantly, their adventure. As MMO players from various degrees of investment and skill, it's always fun to bond and discuss what you've done in your game, your goals, and just how you feel. The multiplayer word in MMO leads to social and community building, and sometimes we've felt that gets lost in the world of min-maxing. As we interview and meet different people from different games, walks of life, and levels of gameplay, we look forward to having more people come in and add their unique perspective to the community. Today, I am joined with the wonderful Saint Cairo and Karis of the Gang Saves Azeroth in Mists of Pandaria Classic World of Warcraft. As much of as a mouthful that is, I want you both to kind of introduce yourself. And the opening question I have for you guys: how long have you been playing this specific MMO? And I think for World of Warcraft, that's a much longer spree. And the follow-up question to that, as you answer that, is: did you play Mists of Pandaria original? And where is that different in Classic? So I think we'll start with the main guild master of your guild. I don't actually know which one of that is.
You gotta guess, dude. Yeah, so my name is Saint. In game, it's Saint Cairo, Saint Zero, whatever you want to call it. Typically just Saint, though, is what I go by. Been playing Mists of Pandaria. Well, originally, way back when it came out, I was just like the absolute casual. I joined a random guild, had no connection to really anybody, but back then it was a 10-man guild, and we cleared, I think, normal, Mogashun, and Terrace. And then we didn't do Heart of Fear for some reason. But we did those two on normal, and back then I thought that was, the peak of raiding. And then come 2019, we started back up in Classic. I didn't meet Karis or yourself for another year or so. But then once Burning Crusade came, stuck around with the gang ever since then, and we've been progging this progression server for almost 5 years now, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, wow,
that's crazy. Almost 6.
And you, Karis?
So yeah, I played original MoP. Didn't raid at all because I thought raiding was lame. I only did PvP. I only did arenas on my hunter, and that's really my only experience with MoP. I heard that the raids were really good, and I think I did them on like LFR, but like that doesn't really count back then. So I was excited to be able to do I almost said mythic, heroic, these heroic raids this time around.
Okay, so
it's funny looking at like the normals now. If you do them, absolute joke. Yeah. But back then I was like, yo, this is real. This is real raiding.
I don't want you either, both of you, to like dox yourself or anything like that, but like generally, what age are we talking about when original MoP is? Is that like high school, college era for both of you?
I think I was a competent adult. I was like 18 or 19, right?
I think it was my freshman year of college, maybe sophomore year of college.
Yeah, it released in 2012.
Yeah, it was definitely college.
So
Okay.
Yeah,
I was,
yeah.
I was a competent enough adult that I should have been better at the game than I was.
Yep.
I will attest. I do remember Karis being an absolute PvP Chad in college.
That's so
So
funny.
I can attest to those days. He
That's so funny
carried
to
me.
me.
He carried me in a couple of arenas. I was a very casual MoP player. Like I'm an alcoholic type person. Like I can't keep anything. So he would like carry me to get me a couple pieces of gear, and then I'd be like, all right, on to the next character.
How far into PvP did you get?
You know, it's funny. I mained Hunter, obviously, but my highest rating was on Arresto Shaman. I got the 2200 on Arresto Shaman.
There you go.
Shaman.
That's how you do it.
I don't know if that's like a testament to like how the classes are balanced, or if I was just like, fine, I'll do it myself type of situation. Like I'll just heal and we'll just get it. But I don't know. So that was it.
Was that 2s or 3s?
2s
or 5s. 2s. Okay.
2s. 3s. I think the highest I got was like 1800.
That's
5s I never messed with.
Matt, what was your PvP? Like, would you just play 2s with Karis then?
I think I was just doing 2s. I think we did 3s because Karis had another friend that played WoW a lot. I'm pretty sure they got me to the achievement, which I think is 1800. Not like the super one, but I think it's like the first one. Yeah, I mean, I would play whatever. Like, I mechanically could play, but I think I was getting obsessed with League of Legends at the time. So
dude,
that's what happened.
That's what happened, brother. Amen, brother.
You and the other guy that he's talking about also ditched WoW for League of Legends. So
yeah, we went down a rabbit hole.
That is what happened to me. Like I did miss, and then I just switched to League. And then I came back in 2019, basically.
Well, I think that's because we all know it's coming next after Pandaria in the chronological order. But that actually leads me
so I'm gonna do it again.
WoD Classic's release will be the resurgence League of Legends has been waiting for.
Yes, sir.
But, so that actually leads me to the question that I should have asked as part of this. And I'm going to lead it into your kind of question about your guild and MoP Classic as it is right now. But what are the classes you both play as part of your guild, if you like multi-class at all for it? And then I kind of want to go into where the gang is in Mist of Pandaria. So like where you are raid-wise, and we'll kind of start there.
Okay, you want to start this one?
Sure. So I play Survival Hunter. Not a terribly important class or role. It's just the DPS, but I enjoy it. So that is what it is. We are, I don't know what the number is, but we are currently progressing Heroic Thunder King, which is the second to last boss of Throne of Thunder, which is the second raid tier of MoP. So that's where we're at right now. And we probably get it tomorrow, for being honest, as of right this moment.
Okay. So you and I mean, this is more for people, I guess, as they listen. So you are all a heroic guild progression, and you do 2 nights a week. Is that 2 hours or 2.5 hours per day?
3 hours, 2 nights,
Tuesday,
3 hours.
Tuesday, Thursday. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
Very standard. Very standard for heroic guild, I think.
Yeah. And then I play Enhancement Shaman. In every iteration of the game, I will play Enhancement Shaman. It's just my favorite class. Sometimes 2 Enhancement Shamans. And just kind of going off like our progression for this tier, I think it's been really good as well. We've been, we only raid 6 hours a week. Like we don't ask PTR progression during that. We don't do extra nights typically. So we've been averaging, I think, almost 2 heroics a week. And we took Christmas and New Year's Eve week off because it released like December 11th, which was kind of insane for a release because it's so close to the holidays. And I think other guilds have been spending a lot of time progging it more than us, and we're kind of like same level of skill. We're a little behind, but that's because we took 2 weeks off and we don't require extra time outside of the 6 hours. The only thing we require really is like do the legendary quest line. Which if you're not familiar with MoP, there's like a progressional quest that gives you player power throughout the phases. And right now it's like you get a really good meta gem. So we just like, that's all we keep an eye on is, are you doing your meta gem quest? Do you have consumables? And are you, performing week to week pretty well?
Okay. So in that regard, I'm kind of curious, like, because I find it really interesting in MMO communities that you both saying like, oh, we took the holidays off, and the way you both are kind of saying it is like, of course you take the holidays off. Like, why would they release it on December 11th? And I find like when I'm like perusing like Reddit and forums or whatever, I find like some people are like, no, man, like I'm so happy it was released on December 11th. Like, I don't want to spend time with family. And I'm kind of curious with that, like, makes me think, like, would you describe your guild as like hardcore rating? Like, what would you define your guild as? I feel like this is a good question. Yeah, I feel like this is such a volatile one. I don't mean to start us off with something so volatile, but I feel like it's a great question.
The semi-hardcore thing is so annoying because like you kind of have to describe yourself as semi-hardcore, even though that is like 80% of raid guilds. There's like the 10% casual on this side of the bell curve, and then there's the 10% really hardcore on this side of the bell curve. I think I might have done that backwards. Yeah. And then it's the semi-hardcore is the 80% of guilds, and you could be here, you could be here. Like you never know what you're gonna get. But like, there's no other real way to describe it. Like, how do you describe a guild that's like, we require consumes, you got to be up to date with your gear. We're progressing heroic, like, and we want to do it at like a decently fast pace. Like, how do you describe that? But you're like, but you don't need to do PTR. You don't need to do an extra raid night if we like. You don't need to get a week one clear. Like, so it's tough. It's a tough like way to describe it, but I feel like that's the only way to describe it, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. So, Saint, question for you there. How would you describe what Karis is saying? How would you describe the guild as a whole, like fitting into that mold? Because, right, when you kind of make a big tarp like that, right, of like catching all these different things, do you find that your community is fitting into that? Or do you feel like, oh, yeah, like it takes people a couple of raids to feel it out or something like that?
So, yeah, especially when we're bringing new people in, I'm always really terrified of our raid performance that week because some weeks we're like we kill it. Like this week, I would say actually was fantastic for us. We cleared 10 bosses in 3 hours, or no, 11 bosses in 3 hours. Like that was great. And then I think back and when we were doing Mogul Show Involves, there's this boss called Spirit Kings, and we suck at that boss. That is just like our kryptonite. And then we brought 2 recruits in, and we like just shit the bed. Like 6 wipes or something terrible, and we were super outgeared. And so one person who were recruiting realized, hey, this isn't for me, right? And honestly, that was like a blessing in disguise because I would rather they leave on farm rather than progression, right? So I think seeing our bad side is good. But it's also like when we're doing poorly, the vibes are still like pretty good. I would say everyone in the guild kind of knows our level and what we're capable of. So they recognize when we perform poorly, and there's some jokesters in the group that try and lighten the mood. Myself as the raid leader, I try and not be too heavily critical in the moment. That's like kind of a private discussion later on that doesn't need to be public, but for the most part, I'd say the group is held together pretty well. Especially now with Discord, it's not all on guild. Like we play other games together occasionally too, which is nice to kind of form more of a bond within the group.
It's an interesting point because I do read a lot of people that talk about how like Discord has like killed MMO community pieces, and which I kind of agree with. Not that like my opinion matters here, but like I kind of understand that argument. But at the same time, though, I mean, I think I've built a lot of like MMO friends because I'm in a Discord with them, and I could be like, "Who wants to play Valheim or something like that?"
Right.
So,
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yep. Like, Karis won't play League of Legends with me, but
yeah.
I've played.
I tried it. All right. I got the level 11. Yeah.
But yeah, it's been. I'd say it's like a double-edged sword because like I can talk to people while I'm supposed to be working or I'm out instead of having to be on WoW. So it's nice to just have that almost constant communication available if we need to have it.
Yeah, that's a great point. Awesome. So one thing I do want to touch on, since we're like right now we're like a little focused on Miss Pandaria, because I want to make sure like I highlight like whatever MMO portion people are currently playing. So you kind of both touched on this a little bit when you were comparing your past experiences, but I'm very curious, since we've talked about the raids a little bit, we have a past raider and we have a past PvPer. How do you feel this version of compares to the past version? Not just your experiences, like how would you compare them if they were to face off against each other?
Mhm.
How would you describe that feeling? We'll start with Karis on that one.
I would say like it's definitely like the same game. The vibes are a little different. And you could say this about any of the like re-releases from like all the way from Classic in 2019 through
Hmm.
TBC, Wrath, and Kata. I think you're like I like you play the game, you're like, yeah, this is the game. Like this is the game I remember. But the vibes are like a little different because like you kind of know what to expect and like you kind of know what you're doing even though you haven't done it yet. Like you like there's just so many like like you hear this everywhere. Like there's so many resources to learn about the game that you kind of know what to do before you really have to do it. But
Mhm.
the game still holds up in my opinion. I think it's just as good as it was. Like every time, like even during Kata, which I'd say was probably like the low point of Classic so far. Like even that, I was like, this is the Kata I remember, and I remember enjoying it. So
Yeah.
I think it's like I think it holds up well. It's just like a different way of approaching it that makes it feel different.
I think a good example is so the final boss in Throne of Thunder is Rauden. He's like a secret boss. He's not in the dungeon. His abilities aren't in the dungeon journal. So like back in the day, that was a big surprise. Like Gallywix in Mythic now, or
Mm-hmm.
was. You know, like back in 2012, that was like a whoa, what does he do? But I was like, oh, there's a dozen YouTube videos showing the kill. We
Hmm.
know what to do. And there's a bunch of guides on like the cheese, how tanks can build vengeance, which is a big thing now. It's not that exciting. But I'm still
That's
looking forward to doing the fight.
so that's interesting though, because you both have MoP experience. And do you have raiders right now that like didn't play MoP and like they were confused? Like, do you have any of those? Where, like, yo, where's this guy in the
Yeah.
dungeon journal?
Yeah, I think some people are expecting it to be like a more difficult fight, but like they don't understand like it was like no one knew what to expect going into that fight. So that was part of the difficulty.
Gotcha.
But even for me, like I only did the first tier back in the day. So even all Throne of Thunder, and
Mhm.
I've only ran it once to do transmog on retail. So like this was all like super new to me and it was a lot of fun.
Okay. I guess it kind of tying into that, and especially since you're saying like you did the tier one, now that you're playing MoP Classic, would you say you're chasing nostalgia, or have you been playing MoP Classic for the vibes? Are you doing something you're like, oh, I didn't get to do this back then, that's why I'm so dedicated to it now? Because personally, like as I saw WoW Classic keep progressing, like I lost interest, right? Like I was like,
Mhm.
Wrath was the last time I felt alive, and after that I was like, it didn't mean anything to me. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
curious, like
Real,
you're
so
playing
real.
MoP, you're all playing MoP, so it's kind of like, I'm interested. Like, why are you playing MoP, right? Like, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
It's
Um,
you go ahead, go ahead.
okay. So I think nostalgia for me probably died in Lich King as well. Because that was I when I was a kid, I rated like Gruul's Lair and TBC, ZG Kara, and then 2020 experienced all those raids, and that was a lot of fun for me. And then Lich King, same thing. I was a little bit better, did all those raids probably on normal 10-man back in the day, but then doing them with the gang was super fun. Highlight of my life. Honestly, it was a great time. I got to know all you guys really well, which was really fun. And then Kata was when we kind of pieced together a team. Because and then some people got FOMO, and then some people's FOMO died out. But we were like, well, we still want to keep going. And part of it's, I got to play with Karis, Eric's, Koopsy, my two IRL friends, Nas and Cash. So really, it's because I have so many friends still playing that I want to keep raiding. And I really like playing my class, and I like these raids. So really, it's just I'm having fun. So I'm going to keep playing.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. I think there's like a little bit of nostalgia, like the nostalgia train kind of does end in Wrath, but there's still like a little bit in Kata and MoP, like just a tiny bit where I'm like, oh, I remember this. I remember playing this and enjoying it, and I'm glad I'm experiencing it again.
Mhm.
But then it is more vibes now. It's more like I like my guild. Like I enjoy playing with my guild.
Mhm.
So that's what keeps me motivating to play, because it's just fun to play with the guild. And I mean, the content is good. Like, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
the content is good. But yeah, it's mostly vibes now more than nostalgia. I think it's like it starts like shifting as you get further into the like progression of the expansions.
Yeah, especially the progression servers are you like raiding. That is all there is.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
one. I'm sure there's some PvPers, but people playing, Kata MoP, they like raiding.
Yeah.
Which is why people are like betting on WoD happening. It's like it's such a good raid log expansion. I'm just like, please,
Yeah.
please just let it die.
I didn't have. Yeah, I think that answers my question. I was going to kind of bring up like I'm hearing this is my crew. I'm here for vibes. Yeah, the game's good. So like, but as soon as
and then the hypocrite of me says, just let it die.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I mean. Take it like exactly what I said. Like, there's still like a tiny bit of nostalgia, but like WoD just does not have that for me. Like, I will. I'm not a retail guy. I would sooner play retail than do my WoD again. I'd be like, what? I'll just do retail. Like, if it's a game I'm probably not gonna like. Like, I might as well just play retail.
I'm not gonna lie, as I logged into Tiny Pudding on the screen here to like get to this location, the graphics had changed and stuff like that, like back to pretty much like what retail kind of looks like now. And like I was genuinely like confused for a quick second. Like I thought I logged into the wrong game.
Because it's the same Orgrimmar now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Like I was like, oh, I gotta find an inn for us to sit in. But I was like, oh, I know which one. But so interestingly enough, to kind of like tie that into some more mob focused stuff. So you guys were talking about you're in Throne of Thunder. And so it sounds like you haven't killed Raden yet. So the latest kill is what boss then?
Latest kill would be we kind of did it. Yeah, we did it a little bit out of order because like you can skip a wall. Basically, you just do it on normal. It's not like Mythic where you kind of go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
So yeah, the most recent one we've killed heroic would be Dark Animus. And if people did that back in the original day, we did it completely differently because new strategies come out still for some of the bosses. So we kind of cheesed it, I guess you could say.
Still kind of difficult though.
Still hard. Still took a lot of practice.
Okay.
It is kind of just like getting your people failing kind of the same thing over and over and just being like, hey, you have to dispel this thing. You have to move. You have to, move your feet. It's still the same problems like in every version of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of funny though, because I would say like in like vanilla World of Warcraft, right? Like it's really just like move. Maybe one person has to spell. And it's kind of interesting because I'd say from just like watching videos and hearing you guys talk and other people talk, like it sounds like MoP like ups that mechanical difficulty. Like, would you agree to that, or versus Cataclysm?
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, Cata was kind of like that.
Yeah,
kinda.
Cata was easier, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but there are still more. Yeah, because I'm trying to think. Because I'm like, what did we have the hardest time with? And I'm like, was it Firelands? And I'm like, Firelands wasn't hard. It was just kind of like boring.
Dude, that side tangent, that was a huge disappointment, by the way. Firelands.
Hearing how good Firelands was and then doing it and it wasn't that good.
It wasn't good. Heroic Ragnaros is a top 3 fight for me.
Okay.
It might come from raid leading it a little bit. That does kind of add a different, like, basically call it or in-game leader kind of stuff is, adds a little bit more flavor to fights. But God, those first 6 are just
the rest of the fights
sleeper, man.
They're awful.
Like, was it like a face roll at least? Like you like got through those first 6 bosses easy, or was it like, oh my God, I'm progging the worst thing in the world?
Well, some of them were one. What was the one the hunter boss. What was its
Shanox.
name? Shanox was an awful fight, and like it was hard, but like it wasn't hard in a way where you're like, okay, like we're learning it, like it's getting better.
Yeah.
Like it was hard in a way where it's like, this sucks. This boss sucks. Wiping to it sucks. Doing the mechanic sucks. None of it was fun. So there was that.
Yeah.
Honestly, and everyone hates on Dragon Soul, and I thought Dragon Soul was better than
Yeah,
Fire
I would
Lance.
agree. I also went to Japan during the hardest prog, so hard agree on that.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Skip the hard part. But yeah, sorry for that side tangent. What was your question?
It was actually it kind of ties. It ties into something actually I wanted to lead to, because we were talking about your latest kills and like where you fit, and so that's actually it's an interesting comparison. What would you describe as like the hardships in this expansion as your rating? It doesn't have to necessarily be the raid, like it could be like social dynamics or whatever. And then like how would you compare that to like the previous expansions?
I actually have a good one for this.
Okay.
I think it's parsing actually. So our group since Kata, I would say, has been like big. We don't care about your parse, right?
Quote unquote.
But that doesn't mean like you can get great parses all you want.
We don't care. Let me reword your sentence.
Yeah,
we don't care about you getting a 90 plus parse.
There you go.
Like you don't need to get like these pink or orange parses.
Mm-hmm.
That said, but yeah, like you're saying, like you don't like grays are also unacceptable. Like you have to.
So I do want to just
not like. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I just want to interject one thing, just in case someone isn't super familiar. Would you give us your dumbed down version of what a parse is? I know what it is, but just in case someone doesn't know what parsing is, let's just give the
easiest one is just for a DPS, someone who's doing damage to the boss. Your parse matters through speed of the kill, so a shorter kill time is probably a higher parse, and then damage done to the boss yourself. So that means like, are you really good at keeping uptime on the boss? Are you doing your rotation correctly? Are you using the right cooldowns at the right time? Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now you kind of saw a little bit in Kata, but now really in MoP, there's a lot of just like overpowered classes. So like, for example, this tier, they just nerfed it actually. So it's impossible to parse now because now the OP class is now nerfed, but all the parses have it as the mage is doing 1.2 million damage DPS, and like you're looking at 300k DPS maybe max, and they're doing 1.2 million DPS because of like some combustion cheese with a trinket. And we have one fire mage. People are stacking like 8, so we're not going to parse.
Gotcha.
So getting that through people's head, because we don't have the damage to meet that. Now that said, still we want to do good numbers and everything, and maybe you'll get a blue, but it's just kind of back in Lich King, back in TBC, it was kind of easy to parse. Dax was so fun to parse on. I don't know if you remember that.
That's part of the content too. Is like because the raids were so easy. Is like how far can you push your damage?
Right.
Because like doing the fight itself isn't that bad, but like doing your rotation well is where you kind of like show skill expression.
So you're saying that hurdle is like that hardship is stemming what? Like people are like upset that they're not reaching those numbers, or
I think so. I think they're not like, it's not to the point where people are like leaving the guild or anything, but you can definitely see there's like, well, I didn't get a good parse here. It's like, yeah, man, we don't have 8 mages right now.
or people suggest like, oh, well, like I saw this guild do the fight like this, and I'm like, well, we're not that guild, and we don't have the comp for that, so like we got to just kind of have to do it the way that we're planning to do it.
So
this is the best
that's
way.
where you start harping on it says semi-hardcore and not hardcore.
Yeah. It is kind of interesting how we have to. It's not like as bad, I would say, as Mythic retail, but like comp building is a thing. Even just to do some bosses, like the Dark Animus cheese, you need 2 warriors, so you always have to bring 2 warriors. Lei Shen, the Thunder King, you need 2 Death Knights to max grip, which is hilarious because that's also a big deal in Mythic raiding is death gripping. So now we're seeing it here in MoP where you need to have a grip to kill some ads on the fight. So it's like you kind of see it from someone who's done a little bit of mythic rating, you kind of see like the baby steps to the mythic rating kind of comp building.
Okay.
It's always kind of been a thing, but I feel like it's kind of been more serious in Kata and MoP for sure.
Gotcha. So, Karis, would you agree with Saint here that like parsing is the hardship, or do you have like a somewhat different take?
The I mean, it is kind of. I don't really like. I don't like. I've never cared to hear anyone's opinion on like if they can't get a parse or not. So like, it doesn't really affect me.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it is like a hard. Like, I do enjoy parsing myself, so that has been hard. Like, as on like a personal level. But like, as far as like the guild goes, like a hardship for the guild. I don't know. I feel like it's been pretty good.
Benching. It's not a big deal anymore, but benching I feel like is always interesting.
I just was watching a video from that YouTuber I had been sending around to you both, and he talked about benching.
Oh yeah,
I'm actually really curious what you.
I watched that today too.
Okay, yeah. Like, what's been the hardship with benching, or what was the hardship?
Honestly, like I don't know about you, Say. Maybe I'm totally missing here, but
I'm just
feel like it's been good in MoP. I feel like we haven't had too many absences. Like it's like I
I'm
feel
thinking
like
more along lines like when you're recruiting somebody.
Oh yeah,
but always just like what?
Yeah, it's crazy how many people looking to join a guild like expect to just raid every night. I'm like, dude, like you expect us to run like a 25-man roster? Like, what if someone like gets hit by a bus? Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, you're just raid with 24 people. Like, you have to have like backups, and I don't know. That's the only realistic way to do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
All right.
Yeah, we had was it a Mistweaver? We had a Mistweaver for a while, and then I benched them for the first time.
Oh,
they kind of
yeah, I'm not gonna.
They kind of freaked out on me.
Yeah, no.
Like, this is not because you're not doing well. This isn't because anything. It's just like this is the system.
Yeah,
everyone serves it besides the tanks.
I recruited you to be the 6th healer so I could give a week off every now and then.
Yeah.
Right. And they left. They said because they weren't feeling it, but I think it's because I benched them one week.
Did they know? Like I mean, is that like established in your like semi-hardcore rule book, and everyone takes a turn? Yep. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and since then, since we've recruited a few more, I like reestablished. They know, like, hey, you're gonna get benched. It's okay.
And it's posted on the main page of our Discord server.
No one reads that.
Yeah, but it's there. It's there.
But it's there. Like, it is there.
Like it's one of those things. You can point to the sign, be like, "Hello."
Yeah,
like, it's right there.
Yep.
So kind of in the inverse to that, though, what would you say is working really well in this expansion? Then
I kind of just touched on it. I think we haven't had an issue. Like, we've had people call off, but like we have the bench and it's good to go. Like we've never been like, oh god, we only have 22 people. Like, what are we gonna do? Which like happened a few times in Kata. Happened a few times in Wrath.
I feel like it happened a lot in Kata.
Yeah, and it happened in Wrath. I know you weren't like an officer or anything in Wrath, but like it happened in Wrath too, where we had to like call in some favors. And but like in MoP, I feel like it hasn't really been like that. And like my theory on it is, like MoP is so like going back to like the nostalgia versus vibes thing. Like the nostalgia factor is getting so low that like the people that are here wanting to raid in MoP like want to play. Like you're not gonna find like if you're here and you're in friggin' the second raid tier of MoP, like you want to be here. It's not because you're like chasing some nostalgia high or anything. It's like you actually want to play the game and you're enjoying it. So like it's easy to like. I think everyone just like wants to play. So like it's never really been an issue so far. We haven't really run into an issue where that happens.
Wow.
Yeah, we haven't faced the roster boss, which is great. We faced it a couple, like in Kata, it kind of blew up in our face a little bit, but since then, like since that moment, it's been pretty smooth.
Okay, that's actually really comforting, I'd say, to hear. And I like your take, Karis, because I think that I mean, as someone who like plays retail mostly for like mythic seasons and stuff like that at this point, like that is like the biggest problem that I see, right? Is like people are like, I'm not playing, I'm not really here, like it's fine, I'll go do something else. So like it's kind of nice to hear the opposite side of it. I feel like that's not talked about enough in the community.
We've touched on it a bit, like just in chatting, but I do think it is kind of wild that, for us and the progression server, we are raiding the raid until the next one launches.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then retail, once they kill the boss,
they take a break.
They're probably done for the season.
Yeah.
And maybe in MoP it's a bit nicer because we kind of have a better cadence of releases for raid tiers because it's already done, right? They don't have to make new stuff.
Yeah, they just have to press the button.
Well, they still release the bugs, but
they kept those.
Yeah, they ignore. Honestly, that's the only bad part. That reminds me. This is a good answer to the hardship question. Sorry, we moved on, but now I have a good answer.
That's perfect.
Blizzard doesn't give a shit about this server anymore. Like they will leave stuff untouched, which like I guess is like fine because like we're just kind of in our own little world. But it's like there's bosses that are bugged, and they're like it's not even that they won't fix them. I just think they're completely unaware that it's even bugged.
Wow.
They just don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. They know like we're gonna do it anyway.
Like the boss Durumu, I don't know how to pronounce it. Durumu.
Yeah.
That boss is, I think it's okay now actually, but it was bugged for a good portion of the time, and you just had to play around it.
Yeah. So ads are supposed. So you have the boss in the middle, right? Mm-hmm. And then at some point he does a mechanic where he shoots out 3 beams. They're attached to players, and you have to run around with a red beam. Okay. And the red beam is supposed to find 3 invisible ads. Sometimes those ads just don't spawn. And you have 80 seconds to kill them or else you wipe. So you're just sitting there going in circles for 80 seconds.
Oh, and you
just
can't
don't
see
spawn.
Them? And you can't see them. So you're just running around. The red light is supposed to like be like a flashlight and find them. And you just can't. And then sometimes they're just always visible. So like it's flip of a coin which one you're gonna get. It's so weird. That is the most gaslighting mechanic I feel like I've ever heard in an MMO. That's hysterical.
My job is to like, so they like announces like light phase soon, and there's like little markers on the ground that show where they're supposed to be, and so I can world marker really quickly with a keybind, and I'll world marker. There's like nothing. I'm like, guys, I swear it was right here. I'm not lying to you.
Oh man, that's so funny.
So it's a little tilting.
Okay. Kind of in that like thing of rating and just still sticking on MoP, and I think we're going to go into somewhat of like an interesting dialogue here. But from you being semi-hardcore, your words, not mine, that means technically you have a touch of casual, right? And I'm curious, how would you describe MoP Classic in terms of, would you say it's more or less forgiving to casual raiders?
Ooh.
I mean, I think it's less forgiving than original MoP because LFR is not in the game.
If you're like in the game, I didn't know that.
It's not in the games.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you wanted to if you're like a guy who has like a really like erratic schedule, and you're like, I just want to see the content, maybe I'll just queue into LFR. Like you can't do that on MoP Classic. You have to at least do normal, which like is still pretty easy, but like, if you're truly a casual who like is like not optimizing their gear or not optimizing their rotation, and you're joining a pug on top of that, it might be a little difficult.
Wow. Yeah, they're probably not taking you if you don't have a parse. You really have to lower your expectations, I think, if you're, not in a guild. It would be hard for sure for someone who's just kind of a solo player.
Wow. Okay. I didn't even. So. It makes sense why they wouldn't include LFR in the classic.
The population isn't there for it. Is what they said, and I believe them.
Okay. I mean, I'll take your word for it. So, in that same, what would you say the kind of player that is thriving in this expansion? Because it sounds like the casual guy is struggling, right? But like, who would you say is thriving? And that could be classes, that could be style of player, whatever.
I think just if you enjoy raiding and you enjoy raiding on a consistent schedule, MoP is great. I think the content is engaging. There's enough guilds out there at all levels that you can, like, speedrunning guilds exist. Week 1 clears exist. Our kind of guild exists, and there's even, you know, your normal late night guilds that are out there that just do normal. There's one of my favorite guilds on Mancreek that I think came to us, was called like the Breakfast Club, and they would raid at like 9 in the morning.
Oh yeah, that's the guild I could be a part of right
Like,
now.
yeah, that's what I was like. So I think there's
awesome.
if you're able to get a consistent, you know, maybe it's not Tuesday, Thursday, maybe it's a Sunday, Monday, but if you're able to get 2 days in, I think you can find something for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially if you're like, if you are a raid logger, like you don't want to play the game, you just want to log in raid and then don't log in until your next raid night. It's perfect for that. Like, you, outside of like the legendary quests, which like you can, it takes like a half hour to do. Like, it's not that serious.
You can do it on a Saturday.
Yeah. Like you do, there's nothing that you have to do that will make your character fall behind outside of raiding. So it's like a really good, like, I know raid logging has kind of like a stigma to it, but like some people enjoy it, and I don't mind it. I think if you want to just raid and you just want to log in on raid nights, it's perfectly fine, and this is the perfect expansion for it.
That's what a lot of our guys do. So, and like
me included. Not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I'll raid Tuesday, Thursday, and I might do like a raid on Saturday with my other, and that's about it.
So I guess in that breath, right? I'm kind of curious, like, if you are raid logging, what are you filling the rest of your time with? Like, is it other versions of WoW? Are you leveling an alt in something? Like, because if you're at raid logging at this point, to me, I feel like that's when people start to like complain about a game. So I'm curious, like, what are you doing outside of raid logging?
So for me, while we're progressing, I work on the strategies for us. Like basically my Wednesday afternoons when I'm not working is I'm doing that. We have a nice sheet, Google sheet for like all our positioning and cooldown management and everything like that. And then other than that, when, you know, I'm really looking forward to midnight when that comes out for retail. Me, Karis, and our friend Eric's, we did hardcore WoW for a while, a couple months ago. That died out when Eric's kept dying. But you know, for now, yeah, for now it really is just raid logging, and then I'm just playing other games. League of Legends, Arc Raiders are kind of the two that I bounce between. So you know, it's nice to not have to just play WoW. Basically, I don't feel like I have to.
Gotcha. Yeah. What about you, Karis?
I mean, I'm playing TBC right now, not even gonna lie to you. But it also, yeah, thank you. I had to. But also, this kind of goes back to your last question. Is I leveled an alt on MoP to 90, and I got him like kind of pre-bis geared, and I was like, I could like find a pug with this alt, but like I kind of just don't want to, because like then like I don't know what kind of raid I'm gonna get into, and like I feel like when I play an alt, I could take on the role of like not like a super casual, but like I am just some random that's just joining some random group. So I was like, do I really want to join like a random group of people? I don't know what to expect. And, like I have to be like fully geared, and I don't know. So I kind of I just got turned off from playing an alt, and that's why I just raid log on my main, and that's it. And then I go play TBC.
Gotcha. And you enjoying TBC? Because I've heard a lot of controversy that it's like post nerf, and they're like not doing it in sequential.
The post nerf thing is kind of annoying. I honestly haven't even hit 70 yet. I'm only level 64, but you know,
Bad
I mean,
gamer.
it's still good.
Yeah,
yeah, I know, really.
Casual.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Eric's didn't even catch up to me yet. I think he's like level 62. But
oh no.
Yeah, but like I don't know. This kind of goes back to the earlier question of like nostalgia, and I'm like, it's post nerf and it's gonna be easy, but like I like TBC and I like TBC's vibe, so I don't mind walking into like a face roll raid, like especially since I'm not gonna be in a guild with like all the boys, like I was in the 2021 TBC. I'm like, kind of works to my advantage because I can just join a pug and it'll be easy, and that'll be it.
So I actually kind of ties into, because hearing you talk about like the pugs, like, do I really want to join this raid? I don't know what I'm getting myself into. I'm extrapolating a little bit, but like, you both are raid leaders. You run a tight ship, at least from my interpretation, and you've progressed pretty far. So I want to say that might, like, psychologist armchair here, like maybe that weighs into it, but it could be into the point of like, I'm curious, how did you both end up becoming a raid leader instead of just showing up, right? Like, what is that tale? And we'll kind of stem from there.
Harris, you have to start because you started the guild first.
Okay, so TBC, our guild, like this idea of like the gang started in TBC pre-patch, and it was basically like the remnants of our classic guild and the remnants of this other guild kind of just like joined forces, and I just happened to be like the first mover, like one of the first movers on that, and I kind of just got thrust into an officer position. So I was like, whatever, like I'll just do it. I'll help out. Like I want to see our classic guild kind of failed, so I was like, I want to see our TBC guild succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert: it didn't. It succeeded somewhat, but it didn't. We did clear Sunwell. Different conversation.
It is.
So I was an officer in that guild. I wasn't like a raid leader. I like did like a little bit, but like nothing. I wasn't like the main raid leader, and I wasn't the guild master, so I wasn't making like all the big choices. But I was an officer in that guild, and then our TBC guild ended, and then one officer quit. The original guild master quit, and then one officer was eventually going to quit, or like he couldn't originally make the raid. It's a whole big thing. So I kind of got like thrust into being the guild master, and I was like, okay, our classic guild failed, our TBC guild failed. Wrath is my favorite expansion. I'm not letting this fail. So I'm the guild master, and yeah, so I'm the guild master, and like this is how it's just gonna go. And so I kind of like got thrown into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I set out to be like I'm making a guild. I kind of like got pushed into it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely like a learning experience. Like I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm used to just being a guy in a raid, but like you do a lot more research, and it kind of is more rewarding in a way, because you feel like when you like kill a boss or you clear a raid, you're like, wow, I organized this group of people to do this. So it's cool in a way. But yeah, to answer your question, I got thrust into it. I didn't ask for this, but I enjoyed it.
So you're not the gnome from the old Sin Wrath movies. You weren't just running up to people saying, "You want to join my guild?"
Nope.
Damn, that's a deep pool.
I'm gonna have to find that clip to put into this.
You are gonna have to find that clip.
You guys want to join my guild?
Yeah. So this was just put on me. No, it wasn't my doing, but
yeah.
And what about you, Saint?
Same thing. I didn't want to be a guild leader, but no one wanted to run a Kata guild, and I was like, well, I play Kata. And so Kata was interesting because we killed Heroic Lich King. So, big props to Karis and our other officer, Darrell, to kind of get that together for us. And then Kata was coming along, and no one really wanted to continue that much. But I have friends in a separate guild called Pizza Roll Sangria, or PRS is what we call them. And fun fact, that is what Karis and I joined Sunwell in TBC, so we can say we killed Sunwell. Mm-hmm. But Kata, they were also kind of like, do we want to, do we not? So my, IRL friends, Cash and Nas, I was like, hey, this is the time we can finally all come together. Cash had been playing with us since TBC, but Nas had been with them. So finally in Kata, we were all going to play together. And so I pretty much just sent cold Discord direct messages to every member that I wanted to play with in the gang. And then Nas did the same thing in PRS, and we kind of got a hodgepodge of people together for Kata. And then we made like an officer corps of both guilds. It was like me, Karis, Cash, Nass, Harvey, and originally this one of the players' prizes who left but then came back because he the FOMO. A lot of people in Canada got FOMO. That was like the theme of the expansion. But then once we started, I I made the guild charter and got the signups, and like my role was guild master. But like for the longest time, I did not consider myself the guild master. I considered it like a council of people to have opinions. But that doesn't work because no one makes a decision then. No one wants to be the bad guy. No one wants to, no one wants to make decisions, which is fair. I don't like doing them either all the time. But I would say, as just that first year, I kind of took the reins a bit more, both in guild leadership, but also as the raid leader. I remember in Lich King, I would always whisper Karis ideas of like what we should be doing. I don't know if he listened to them all that much, but I enjoyed that part. And then through Kata and now MoP, being the raid leader has been a lot of very rewarding. I really like shot calling. It's why I think, back to Firelands, Heroic Ragnaros is one of my favorite kills because it was considered to be like the second hardest boss next to Heroic Lich King, and we killed that. And calling that fight is a lot of fun. And now MoP, it's been a lot of fun too because there's a lot more raid cooldowns to call. Everyone has their own personals, so it's kind of fun to almost micromanage people in a way to kind of like do the right thing. I have a background of League of Legends play, so shot calling that game is a lot of fun too when you know what you're doing. So it's the same thing for WoW. And then in MoP, it's just been kind of the same core officer group. We've had a lot of the same people through playing this time around. There hasn't been as much panic recruiting this time. So MoP's been a lot smoother than Kata has been for sure.
Very nice. I do want to say, my corporate side here of my life, sounds like you were going through a little imposter syndrome there. And,
for sure, brother.
You rose through it.
For sure. Yeah. I didn't know why people should listen to my opinion over others, but eventually it's like, okay, they'll listen to me anyway. So if they want to raid, they have to listen to me.
Yeah. People need direction.
Yeah, like if they wanted to be guildmaster, like they would go and be one.
Yeah.
So I guess like in that same breath, I'm so curious, what would you both describe is the hardest part of being a guild leader or a raid leader? And, is it something you think like other people would agree with, or you're like, no, seriously, this is the toughest thing about being that role?
Yeah. I think the thing I read probably the most is like having to private message people, whether it's about damage, behavior, things like that. Just because it's like everyone we're talking to is an adult. So it's just kind of like, some of them are older than me. There's a couple that are younger than me, but WoW's a game. So we're all kind of old heads at this point playing this game. So just like, like I play Enhancement Shaman through and through. Happy to give advice on that. But if I'm giving advice to like a Death Knight, Frost Death Knight, like I have to dig through logs to figure out what's going on. So it's a little bit more heavy work, and it's just kind of like, well, do I really know what I'm talking about? Sort of, kind of. So really, it's just like those not awkward, but those conversations are kind of just not fun to have.
Yeah, especially when you bench someone and they possibly leave the guild because of it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I know. I totally get that because there's actually 2 people that I had to demote to social in Wrath, and I was like getting anxiety sending the message. And then I sent it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's cool. I kind of don't enjoy playing anyway." I'm like, "All right, well, that makes it a lot easier on me. Like, you could have just said that to me. Could have just quit. It went a lot easier on me, but whatever."
Yeah.
But I find that hard. I also find, not that I don't think I did. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm like patting myself on the back. Not that I like didn't think I did a good job, but like sometimes when you are trying to motivate your guild, it just sounds like you're repeating yourself, and I'm like, am I even doing a good job? Like, are people even listening? Like, what? But like, sometimes you have to just keep saying the same thing because like this, like, just to like build good habits.
Yeah.
Or just even reminders, just to be like, hey, like, kick it into shape. Like, I know you're kind of just like dragging your feet, like, just kick it into shape, and we'll be done. And we'll do like I don't know. It's
Yeah.
tough to like. You kind of like second guess yourself. You're like, is what I'm saying like even like getting through to anybody? But like, I think it is for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's like where you kind of enter into that like coach like role, which I think is in terms of Warcraft, like one of the comparisons that I'm pulling, and I'm curious if you both agree. It's like you're both a coach and a player, right? Like, you know, you don't get to just sit on the sidelines and tell people what's wrong. Like, you have to be like, you know, freaking
You're a
throwing the
quarterback.
ball. Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
you're the quarterback. I think that's a great description.
Yeah. I would say so. And they also like they look to you as well to see if you're doing well, because if like I'm just not hitting my buttons correctly, if I'm dying constantly, like why should they listen to me, kind of thing. So there's a little bit of pressure in that regard. But you know, sometimes I do dream about just being Raider number 5 in the group and just blasting my music, and you know that does sound nice. But it like I said, it is very rewarding to be shot calling. So it's a give and take for sure.
Gotcha. So that's like actually a great question. I wanted to throw back onto you both. In MoP today, like current MoP rating, if you were Raider number 5, do you think you'd still be here, or is that raid leading position like a percentage of why you're enjoying it?
Do I get to be in a raid with at least one friend, or am I just in a completely random guild?
I guess it's however you want to answer it. You know, like what would be your piece? Like you're no longer the raid leader. You know, what would make you stay?
Like if it was me and Saint, or me and Eric's, or me and whoever else, like, and we're just in some random guild, and I can like bond with them about being in the guild, I think I would still enjoy it. But if I was just with some randoms that I didn't even like care about, and I was just raid logging, I don't know how long I would last, honestly. And that's not even to say that content's not good, but like part of the game is the social aspect, and I enjoy enjoying the game with people, if that makes sense.
No, it's fair. I mean, it's like interesting that you're like, you wouldn't want to necessarily like start over, right? Like you're like, I don't want to make new friends and start from the ground. And like, I'm curious how many other players are experiencing that, you know?
It's kind of funny because it's like, I don't really want to make new friends. I feel like I have enough friends right now. I'm very comfortable with it. You know what I mean? Like I tried being a nobody in like a mythic raid on retail, and we did pretty well, but like, when I quit because MoP was coming out and I wanted to just like solely focus on MoP. And when I like quit, I was like, yeah, I can just leave this Discord and this guild and never like, I don't feel like I have to reach out to anybody besides the guild leader. Yeah. Like I just told the guild like, hey, I'm done basically. I'm happy to fill in if you need me, but I you know, once this date comes, I will no longer be playing. And I didn't feel sad.
Wow.
You know, there was just no connections.
Yeah, and I get a lot of that. Yeah, I get a lot of that when I recruit people too, because like people will be like, "Hey, my guild fell apart. I'm looking to join. I see you had an opening for such and such class. Like, I'd love to trial with you guys." And then they trial, and they're like, "Yeah, like your raid was good. I didn't like you guys seem fun. It just isn't the same, and I'm just not having fun with the game." And then they quit. And like that's happened like 4 or 5 times throughout like TBC up until now. And I'm like, hey, I get it. Like it's really putting me in a bad spot because I have to recruit someone else. But like I totally get it. Like you joined thinking like you want to just like do the raids, but like you were kind of just enjoying your time with the guild, with your guild. So I get it.
I heard an interesting quote, and I'd love your takes on it, about like MMOs inherently are worse games of what's currently out there, right? Like if you wanted the best RPG currently out there, like you'd go play Baldur's Gate 3, right? Like it's the known game right now. But there's a reason you're on Miss Pandaria, Final Fantasy 14, you're on Dream Mist, you've got stolen assets allegedly, right? Like you're on that game because it gives you something that's fun that you can't find elsewhere. And like to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, like it is this playing as a team, like the social aspects. These are my best friends, you know, type of thing. And if you're not having fun, like why the hell are you here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so what's the question?
So like, do you agree with
I
that
agree.
statement?
I
Like,
agree with that
MMOs,
statement.
yeah, like MMOs are not a good game. Like per comparison, they're not supposed to be the
Yeah.
best games, but they offer such an incentive.
It's weird because like I do agree with it, but it's also like using like use hardcore WoW as an example. Like me, Saint, and Eric's, and whoever else played hardcore with us. Like a lot of the times we weren't doing stuff in the game together, and sometimes we wouldn't even be playing the game at the same time, but we would bond over our characters being in the same world and like doing the same thing and having the same goals, even though we weren't actually playing the game together. So like it really, I guess it like it still like proves the point that like the social aspect is like the most important thing. But like I was playing hardcore like by myself for the most part, but I was just like playing it like parallel to my friends, and that was like good enough.
Yeah.
So
that's a great, hardcore is a great example for that. I think. I know classic is all, vanilla classic is always, well, it's the leveling journey, not the end game. But I think that's especially true for hardcore. I think
I'd agree with
any non-hardcore version of WoW, it's the end game, guys. I apologize.
yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. Hey, that's the thing. Like I'd say I agree with that as well. Like vanilla does take a while, right? But
For
like
sure.
I wouldn't call it hard.
No.
Right.
No.
And
It's
like,
a time
yeah,
investment.
yeah.
Time investment for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not hard. It's not like Elden Ring hard where I'm like repeating a process constantly to get better at it. Like my classic enhancement shaman, you're standing still and right clicking and like hoping for a win for a proc. Like that's not, there's no skill in that.
Yeah. I will say though, just something Karis, you were saying about like when you see the boss go down as like a raid leader, like you feel that like sense of pride. I feel like you feel that sense of pride as a solo player in something like classic vanilla WoW. Like when you get to 58, 59, and 60, you're like, I made,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
definitely.
So it's interesting you guys brought up hardcore because I've read a lot of people's takes on hardcore that they're like, "What? It's not fun, right?" Like they're like putting it all on the table like that is not fun. and this is where our sponsor DraftKings comes in. No, but
My God.
it's in reality
What a
we're not
great
sponsored by
segue.
DraftKings. But it's actually so I'm actually curious where you personally draw the line between fun and obligation, right? And it's kind of like interesting you brought up hardcore to me because obviously you were like making your own fun, but just in terms of like playing WoW, like where do you draw that line? Like where do you feel like this is no longer fun, it's a job?
I mean, you can look at it from a rating perspective, or like I guess you could look at it at a hardcore perspective in a way. When you hit a wall, it becomes unfun, I think. And like when you really feel like you've capped out and you're like that, like we're not progressing. Like maybe in hardcore you keep dying at level 22. You're like, okay, I could see if you died at level 22 6 times, you're like, I'm not having fun anymore. Like this just isn't fun.
I get it. Yeah.
Or if you're like, my guild has been stuck on this boss for 6 weeks and we haven't seen it even close to like 10%. I'd be like, okay, I can see why this is not fun. So I mean, that progression is like the name of the game in an MMO. So I could see, at least for me, like it stops being fun when you're not progressing anymore.
I do for rating especially. I think it's important for like when I'm discussing a boss is what's going to happen, like setting an expectation of this boss is probably going to take 15 pulls. I know it took guild A 3 pulls week 1 and we're in week 4, but we're not him, it's going to probably take us 2 or 3 times as many.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think Heroic Ragnaros took around 100 pulls. Dragon Soul, Spine, that was a long prog. I wasn't there for most of it, but I remember hearing from Nash that was a huge wall for the group. And then like the final boss of Dragon Soul was 2 or 3 pulls. But it's just like, you got to get over that hump sometimes to see the of your labor per se. So it's just kind of setting expectations for yourself and also the group you're playing with, for sure.
It's so like it's so hard though because I was never really a raid leader. Like maybe I was an officer at one point in something, but like I feel like being the raid leader, I feel like you see that obligation like before the rest of the guild.
Oh, for sure. I'm the only one. Well,
Definitely.
not the only one, but I'm definitely like you look at Warcraft logs and you can see what other guilds are doing. It's a great resource, and you're able to see like their progression pole to pole, and you can kind of compare it to ours. So for me, it's just like, oh, this is a 50 pole boss. Well, buckle up, guys. We're probably in this for 70 to 75 poles.
Because you don't have 8
and
fire
then-
mages.
Exactly, dude. But then,
Exactly.
if we get that in like 40 polls, that feels great because we did it 10 less than a guild that's, better than us. So there is like, if you come together and kind of complete a goal beforehand, feels really good.
Interesting. Okay. Any additions to that, Karis?
No, I mean you pretty much nailed it. Like it's the setting expectations thing is big because I remember progging like bosses in ICC outside of like Lich King. I feel like we didn't prog any boss too hard. Like, it didn't take too many. At least, like nothing unreasonable. I think like Sindragosa took like 20 pulls, and then like Putricide took like 20-ish or 30-ish. But then I remember getting to Lich King and looking at other people's logs. And I think by the time we got there, like there had only been like a handful of guilds that did it then, and it's not like we got there fast. Like yeah. And I remember like when we started that prog, I told everyone, I was like, listen, this is gonna be like 100 polls, probably gonna take a couple weeks. And I think that motivated people. And it ended up taking like 97 or something. So but like even then, like you hear 97 polls, you're like, wow, you're really just like bashing your head against the wall. But like within the boss, you can see yourself getting better. Because like there'd be points where like phase 1, we're wiping in phase 1, and then it's like by like poll like 30, you're like, okay, phase 1 is a joke. Like we nail this every single time. So like you can see the progression. Like I don't even want to like say like we're stuck on a boss. Like if you're progressing a fight and you're getting better at a fight, like even that feels good. So
I agree.
that
It's
is like
really,
always like a motivating factor.
Yeah, like it doesn't really sound like it's like 97 pulls. It was like 35 pulls in phase 1. It was like 40, in phase 2.
Yeah,
like it really is like broken up.
It feels really good when you get to that pull where you still wipe, but you're like, we are there. We're right there.
Yeah,
like we just got to do this one thing and then we will get it.
There were definitely polls on that. I'm just going to use Lich King because that was, pretty memorable. Where like we went like ahead of ourselves almost. Like we got perfect RNG, perfect people got the mechanics. And it's like, well, that was a 30% pull, and our previous best was like 46. It's like, guys, that was a perfect one. We're probably not going to see 30% here in a while.
Was that when the Valkyries got all warlocks? Yeah. Yep.
All warlocks.
I remember exactly what you're talking about.
It's like that was a beautiful one, guys. That will not happen again.
Yeah, that was fake.
Exactly. There's a fake checkpoint, but it's like, hey, if it lines up, we can't make it there. But
streamer luck,
So 30. Exactly. You still got to temper your expectations when you hit that that personal best.
Oh, I love that. So this is perfect. This is like a perfect segue. So you guys are pretty much answered all of like my textbook questions that I had lined up. So we are definitely coming towards the end of the interview. So definitely first want to say thank you guys so much. This has been super interesting and informative. Now I have some fun questions for you guys.
Oh, let's do it.
So definitely thinking outside of the box. It might be a little uncomfortable. Censor yourself however you want. So I'm going to open up because of what you guys were just talking about. So you guys just talked about like the perfect lineup. So now I want to touch on what is a wipe, and it can be any expansion, right? It doesn't have to be MoP. If it is MoP, awesome. What is a wipe that you still think about? And what's that story?
One singular wipe or a boss in general?
It could be a boss. Like you can take that question however you want, but it's like you're like I still can't get over this.
I have two answers.
It was fun.
A singular wipe is our 1% wipe on Brutalis and Sunwell. Like that killed the guild. That was literally the kill shot to the guild. It was 1 or 2. It was close.
Wow.
We got it was like right there, and we wiped, and we never got closer, and then the guild died. I was like, that was the kill shot to the guild.
Wipe that killed the guild.
And like it wasn't immediate. Like, oh, we wiped, and now the guild's breaking up. But I was like, if we just killed that boss there, we probably could have kept moving and just like did
Brutalis
something.
is iconic because it's the second boss in Sunwell. It's not that hard. The boss
I remember
is
this
not
boss. I remember this.
The boss is not that hard, and we couldn't kill it. Oh man,
yeah. But yeah, I think about that a lot because it's like to me there was like a big butterfly effect there, where I was like, all right, we kill this boss. It's week 2 or 2 out of 6, maybe even 3 out of 6 because we go on to the next boss,
which is significantly easier.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, and then even then, like maybe people quit, but like guilds are breaking up back and forth. Like I can recruit from this guild, like it'll be all like we'll put it together, but like we just wiped to that, and then we never beat that boss. And it was over.
Dang.
So I do think about that every so often. As far as just like a boss that I will never forget is Freya from Uldalar. Again, not that hard. Our guild just could not. Our guild just couldn't figure it out. And I was like, what is going on? And like we killed it, and like eventually we had it on farm. But even then, I was like,
no, we didn't.
Like,
we
what is
it on farm.
We never killed it cleanly. We just outgeared it.
6 healing that. We were 3 tanking it. It was terrible. Yeah. And then at this point, Karis and I had a pretty good relationship with PRS, and we would we would bring some of their people in if we needed subs, and they would bring me and him would go in every now and then. They destroyed that boss. It wasn't even a problem. And I was like, what the heck? This is our wall. This is our weekly wall. We would save that boss for last of the night. Yeah, it was bad. But I guess there's a couple funny ones every now and then for wipes. There was one on one of the bosses that we were struggling in a MoP was Horadon, and there was just one wipe where it was at 2%. Someone doesn't move, and we just get AoE stampeded and die. And all they had to do was just move to the right.
Oh man!
So there's a couple of those. We killed it a couple pulls later, and there's always a couple of those. I feel like an expansion where it's just like, oh, we were doing. This is like pull 12. Like we know what happens when this ability goes off. So there's always a couple of those every tier, and it continues to happen. So.
I do want to chime in that I do remember the Freya pulls. I was around for that era, and I will have to say I do remember being made blood after I explicitly said if I come back for this X-Pack, I will not be tanking for the crew. And there I was tanking for the crew.
We tried everything. We tried everything on that boss, and we just could not get it.
I remember Durrell messaging me and being like, how does anti-magic zone work? Like if you talented into it. And I remembered that was when I was like, this is not okay. But wow.
We were just bad at that, man. Oh my God.
Everyone has one. And I think it's a good conversation, especially in regards to like this podcast, right? Like there's like hardcore raiders that were like, I don't even remember that fight. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Because it's so easy.
It takes out like a sore thumb for us.
Yeah, no,
I will always think. I'll always think about Freya. I will never forget Freya. Like it was just so bad.
So the other question I have here, it's like kind of a two-parter. Let's start with the first part. So these are my spicy but healthy questions here. So the first one is, when you think of like hardcore raiders that you've either had come try out or guilds that you've helped out with or anything, what hardcore behavior from a hardcore raider do you think makes raids worse? whether that's enjoyable,
Ooh.
more difficult, etc.
So-
Like, what's a behavior that's like,
Stop.
nah, this can't be it.
Stop saying, oh, I seen one guild doing this. I hate hearing that. I hate when people say that. Like, if you want to like DM me and be like, hey, I was looking at this log, like, what if we tried doing this? That's fine. But like mid raid, when people are like, oh, well, there's this one guild that does it like this, you just gather up all the ads, you just AoE them down. I'm like, we're not doing that. We can't do that. We don't have the DPS to do that. We're not doing that. Just please, just like focus on the strat that we have in place, and we will adjust accordingly. So that is my pet peeve.
What about you, Saint?
Yep, I would agree with that, especially because I'm the one that looks at strategies a lot and recommends them. And then someone's like, well, we could do this. And it's like, dude, I looked at that 2 hours ago. I know we can't do that. Like, I have seen what we can and cannot do. But I agree with Karis. If someone whispers me, that's different than saying it over Discord voice. And also, if you want to talk to me after raid, that's also super fine. But like in the middle of like we have 6 hours a week, right? So like, let's keep chatter down to a minimum, kind of thing. And then I guess like another thing that I would be scared to happen. It doesn't really happen that often, but like people calling out other people mid raid as well. That would sit on well with me if someone did that. That doesn't really happen, and if it does happen, we kind of just like immediately meme on them and just like joke about them instead of the person they're targeting, just to like kind of put it under the rug. But that doesn't really happen in our guild, which I'm very thankful for. So
yeah, I could see that.
But I've seen it happen in like
Yeah.
pugs, which is like, ugh.
Yeah, and it is that to me, like I would say that is the most hardcore trait to have, right? Because you're like, we're here to be the best. It's like Michael Jordan calling out his own teammates, right? Like you're like, yeah, we're the best, the best. So like we're supposed to do that, but it's like, dude, I have a cat in my lap right now. I can't be that hardcore right now. You know what I mean? Like it's my relaxed time.
Yeah.
So in the inverse, though, I will start with Saint here. What's a casual habit that drives you nuts? The inverse of it.
Showing up late.
Okay.
I don't really. So we've been very consistent. We want you in raid by 8:25. I ping people at 8:20 on Discord. And if you're not online by 8:30, I get irritated.
Fair.
We've had that schedule for 5 years, and sometimes people consistently don't show up at 8:25, and it bothers me.
I mean, it's fair.
I agree.
That's probably the big thing for me, at least. Just because we also like people, you have to consider other people's time. Like it's not just me you're not showing up for at 8:25. It's 23 other people you're not showing up for. And it's just like, let's just again, 6 hours. Let's get rolling. Let's get going.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be like the
especially because we never go over late.
Yeah, we never go over. We are done at 11:30. I might ask for like one more poll at like 11:26, so it'll go over like 5-10 minutes. But 11:30, we're done.
That's respectful. I feel like that's very important, especially like if you are in that time zone. 11:30 is pretty late, especially like you're saying, like WoW's an old timer game. People got kids going to bed and all that type of stuff.
We have 2 Canadians who are an hour ahead of Eastern Standard Time, which it just is hilarious. I always forget that exists.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh my god, I actually forgot about that. Yeah, Canada does have one more time zone.
So they end at 12:30. So
and this is not a racist dig at our Canadian northern brothers, but you're all too nice to tell us, like, hey,
they'd probably be okay going over.
Yeah, I want to go to bed. Awesome. All right, perfect. I think those are great things. And so this is my last question, and it's a little bit of the friction, kind of emotional one, as much as you may want to do it. Have you ever wanted to step down, and why didn't you?
I didn't. It wasn't like a serious consideration, but I think Saint might agree with this. I think Saint's having the same. At the beginning of Kata, when everyone who FOMO'd in FOMO'd out, I was like, these are and like a lot of these people are like my IRL friends or people that I've raided with for years. I'm like, do I really want to keep doing this with all these people quitting? Like, it's like That's when I was like, oh my god, do I even want to do this? But that makes it sound like I was like 90% of the way there to quitting, but I really wasn't.
Mhm.
But in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, this sucks. I was like, is this like? It was a consideration for sure. I did think about it.
We were even just considering going to 10-man though. Like we were. I don't think there was ever a we're not going to raid. I think it was we're going to just turn this into a 10-man kind of deal.
Yeah.
But then I realized I hate 10-man, and so that never happened.
10 mans, okay.
Yeah, I don't like 10-mans. That's probably another discussion for another day. But I would agree with Karis. That was kind of the time. But I also don't want to. So it's kind of interesting because like I tried to raid in retail, and I hate how retail guilds run because they don't have a schedule, they don't have signups, they don't have a real bench, and it just bothers me. Maybe it was just by like one or two guilds I tried, but both of them had the same problems. Was there was no sign up, there was no bench. I didn't know when I was going to be in. Like I remember their start time was 9:30, and like I've been online for an hour just doing things. And at 20, he DMs me like, "Hey, we don't need you today." I'm like, "Bro, what the? I could be doing something else then." So
that's rough, yeah.
So like I like how we've been running our guild. I also really like our loot system, which I think is undervalued for a lot of guilds or not considered, which is the Suicide Kings list. I would never want to do a loot council or a soft reserve or rolling. So I think we've kind of created the guild how we want to play, which has been very helpful to not wanting to step down because I've seen how other guilds do it, and I don't think they do it that well sometimes.
It's an interesting take because, like, actually, I never really thought about that, but you're like kind of blown my mind. Like, at least in these older versions of WoW, like you can kind of customize what your guild and raid means. Yes, like there's the number thing, but then there's also like loot council versus suicide kings and stuff like that. Or unalive kings. I don't know if I have to bleep that.
Sure, you might have to bleep that. I've also started calling it like King of the Hill list, which we might want to rebrand.
Okay. I just call it SK. I just say SK.
SK list. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's such an interesting piece because like when you go to these other guilds, like another person could be here and I could ask what's your pet peeve about casual raiders, and like they might not bring up like timing, right? They're like, yeah, whatever. It started 9:35. Like, it's fine.
Dude, I'm sure that would drive me insane if like 9:30 was like a soft launch time. I just show up between 9 and 9:30 and we'll start. That would drive me bonkers. I hate that you just suggested that.
Yeah. I think you're kind of like, I know this doesn't like super answer the question, but like you just have to like create as much structure in a guild as possible, like outside of the game. Like just like these are the raid times, you're expected to sign up, and like I will hunt people down to sign up, and if they don't sign up I won't put them on the roster.
Yeah, they're not on the roster.
Strict.
And like you have to have your consumes ready, like anything that you can do prior to raid, like your performance can be corrected, like, but like anything that you can do prior to raid that will just like allow you to be ready at the raid start time and just have all like the possible structure that you can is like those are things you can control that will make the guild successful. And it doesn't even have anything to do with gameplay. Like you could have 25 of the worst players in the world, but like as long as you have that, like you at least have something that you can like consistently rely on.
Yeah.
So that's why like I can see why it's such a pet peeve, because like that's something that's easily controlled. Like just show up on time and it'll make things so smooth.
Karis gave me this example and I've always reiterated it. You're on a rec basketball team. Show up. This is your rec basketball.
It's not that serious. It's not life or death, but you did commit to it. So like honor the commitment.
Yeah, like, okay, yeah, I get it. You have a Sweet 16 you have to go to. That's fine. You don't have to make it to the game, but like, not showing up.
Let me know.
Texting me
later.
Me know.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, exactly. And we have people call out on absent like 2 hours before raid, which it's kind of like, damn. But, we have that bench, which should solve it. So it's still like, that nice barrier to have to cancel raid. And we've raided, I want to say with 25 people. It's funny, we raided 24 people the launch on Throne of Thunder because Nas, one of the officers, like an hour before raid started, like his whole family just got sick. And it's just like, well, and like it was holidays. So like, you know, like people, there was no bench. So we raided 24 and it was fine. We did all normals. But like that was probably the only time since Kata we've probably even in Kata we've raided with 24 people. Like we've always had 25, which has been great.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's like not an easy feat.
No.
All right. Awesome. All right. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about, and you guys answered all my questions, so thank you again. I'm kind of entering that like soft closing part of the podcast piece, so I do want to throw it back to you both. Is there anything you want to like, you know, throw out there? It could be advice to other raid leaders. It could just be a dramatic statement about the state of WoW, whatever it is. I kind of want like your closing statements, and then I'll go into mine.
Yeah, I think one thing I'll say, it's if you're like looking to make a guild or, you know, a raid team, it is very, very, very helpful if you have a group of friends already playing and just kind of, you have to kind of adopt new people basically into your soft friend group. So if you don't have a friend group, it becomes way harder. And guild leading might not be for you then. Because, you know, this guild is based off friendships that have started online, but have also become real life friendships. And, you know, friends from your life that just started to play WoW. So if you have a friend group, you have the basis of a guild, in my opinion.
Okay. What about you, Karis?
I agree. It's like it's definitely one of those things where you as like in like a leadership role, you have to have someone that you can rely on, and like I think you can hold your friends accountable, but if you're just like if you're just one guy who logs into WoW and is like, I'm going to start a guild with 25 people I've never spoken to before, and I'm going to throw random people into like leadership, like it's never going to work, because like at the end of the day, these are just random people. So you do need at least one other person you can rely on. I think 2 people can run a guild easily. I think if you're just one guy starting a guild, though, you're going to have a bad time. So I wouldn't do that.
Gotcha. So
maybe if you're looking at retail, maybe start like a Mythic Plus team. Then those 5 people are now your basis of for progression servers. It's probably a lot harder, and I don't even know where you start in Classic WoW. But you know, that's what I'm just kind of thinking. Like you're start at a dungeon level and then move up, kind of thing, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I will say from like my own experiences, like I was a healer in the War Within seasons. And like, you know, all it took was like healing one insane key, and someone would be like, yo, do I add you to my BattleNet friends? And it's like every time it was like, hells yeah, like of course. And like, you know, I will say that like I have my group of friends, I have you guys and some of the other like retail friends and stuff. So like I would always be like, I'm not really gonna reach out to them, you know, but that's just because similar to you, Saint, I'm like, I feel like I got enough people to play this game with and stuff.
That's
like,
what
I don't
I'm saying,
know.
man.
Like, you know, I'm a casual guy now.
I don't need to make new friends. Right.
All right. Awesome. So
this was my time. I made my friends.
You did. Yeah. And if you all stop playing, then it's like, all right, do I want to start over again? But yeah, thank you both so much. I'm thinking for the next episode, I am going to try at either more MoP perspectives. I know that you guys have some connections, but I'm also curious how retail is doing as they prepare for it. So I might reach out to some of the retail players and get a little opposite to this.
Darrell, if you're watching this, you're next. Darrell's next.
Oh man,
if you made it this far, Darrell.
All right, we have our first.
You're next.
Yeah, and then you know, following that. Yeah, after that, we'll get the classic versus retail discussion and stuff like that.
Oh, that.
But prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong. But yeah, with closing, you know, to anyone that does find this video and wants to leave a comment or advice or feedback, you know, I would love to hear other people's experiences with MoP, whether that was the original release or today's classic re-release. Obviously, this is a very, you know, small anecdote of information, but thank you both so much. Thank you, Filthy Casual, and hopefully you guys will be back on for a different interview one day. So I hope you guys both have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
All right.